Now public testimony.
Okay.
Welcome everyone, and glad to see everybody's interested in the process of the selection of the next police chief. Just wanted to go over a couple of kind of ground rules so that everybody knows. First of all, you know that you're limited to 3 minutes. And if you have any of your, when you do present your testimony, please direct it to the commission. Also, on your testimony, I would like to make sure that it's focused on the agenda item, which is the finalists for the police chief position. And finally, would like to, when you do present your testimony, that is done in a civil manner. And with that, it's very simple rules. With that, we'll call up the first person to sign up is Marjorie Morgan. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, please. My apologies if I murder your name, okay?
Good afternoon. My name is Marjorie Morgan, and I'm retired from the Honolulu Police Department as a civilian. I retired in 2011. While I was with the police department, I was the personnel assistant, and I worked very closely with the fourth floor. And I'm here in support of retired Major Kurt Kendro. I worked with him while he was part of the accreditation board. He started as a lieutenant, and retired Chief Donahue then put a mandate saying he wanted to get the department in within 2 years to become accredited. And that was a real tall order because it was, the Maui Police Department was there for 10 years and still not accredited.
Mm-hmm.
So when retired Major, I keep calling him Kurt, so pardon me. And he was a lieutenant when I started, and 2 years later he was a captain. He was well on his way. He followed all of the orders. He did everything, and he's very, very, very community-minded. And I have great respect for him because he is very honest, he is very transparent, and he does care for the community a lot. My feeling is, I know there's been a lot of discussion on maybe an outsider coming in to so-called clean everything up. But working with HPD for all of those years, it's not that easy for an outsider to just come in, take the reins, and if there is any sort of an emergency out there, they would have to learn from someone else. He has been with the department, or he was with the department for 30 plus years, and he started as an officer. He knew Troy Barboza. He was very involved with Special Olympics. He's still very involved with Special Olympics. He's a man of his word. If he says he's going to do something, he does. He has great follow through. And it's pretty interesting because I was one of the civilians that was so fortunate to go to a class. It was a Hawaii leadership class that we all were expected to go to. But I was one of the only civilians that was allowed to go to. And they did this testing, and they wanted to see what sort of a personality you had. Well, Kurt came out with driver. And what that meant is he is a very driven individual. He is very focused on what he expects to be done. He has great expectations, but he's not a fellow that would expect his person to jump in the fire unless he jumped first. He's just that kind of a person. And the second portion of the driver, it meant that he will drive his people in an orderly fashion, and he will take reign, he will take responsibility. He does not have any excuses. He's never had excuses as long as I've known him. If he didn't do the right thing, he will own up to it. My personality, well, it was driver because I'm driven, but my other side was very compassionate. So I just want to say in closing that I feel Kurt Kendro would be the best person to be chief of police because he knows the ins and outs, he knows the community, he involves himself in everything that he does. And I hope and pray that you make the right decision and choose him for the next chief of police, because the department certainly needs a very good leader. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Alex. Alex, you coming up?
Good afternoon.
And first of all, I'd like to thank the Police Commission for all their work and for their efforts to get us to this point in the selection process. My name is Alexander Garcia. I'm with HPD. I've been 29 years. I'm a lieutenant. I've worked under 5 different chiefs of police since I've been here. I'm not here today to advocate for any one individual. I know most of these people, and they're all great. You have a tough selection in front of you. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to advocate for any one person. That's your job, to select the best of the best. I think my responsibility, and those of the community and the organizations, is to let you know what we look for in a chief of police and add that to your criteria so that you make the right selection. Right now, we have, over the last year, we've had a acting chief, acting deputy chiefs, acting assistant chiefs, acting majors, acting captains, acting lieutenants, and acting sergeants. We have more actors in HPD than Hawaii Five-0. But we've maintained our professionalism throughout that time. All these people in the acting positions have done a fabulous job. They've done excellent work. They've managed the department to continue on. Dispatch takes the calls. Patrol responds. Investigators, detectives follow through. Traffic people enforce the road. SSD does what they do best. Training division keeps us abreast of all the current training and laws, keeping us the finest department in the country. We can do the job quite well. Technically, we could take everybody's name and put them in a hat. And we could reach into that hat and draw a name and say, Billy Axe, you're the next chief.
I didn't apply.
I don't care, you got the job, you're in the hat. But anybody can do this job. They've all got the basic criteria, the basic qualifications. They all have a bachelor's degree or master's degree. There may even be a couple PhDs amongst the candidates. They've all led and managed a bureau or a division of police officers. They all meet the basic criteria. They can all manage, but we don't need a manager. We need a leader. We need somebody who's going to stand before you and tell you the truth, whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, we correct it. If it's good, we keep going. All I can say is that you have a tough road ahead of you. I would like you to select somebody who will be forthright, somebody who will represent our mission statement. Integrity, respect, and fairness. That's our mission statement. It's not just a motto. It's something that we live by. The chief of police should exemplify our mission statement. He should not yield to public pressure, to media pressure, or political pressure. He should tell you the truth and tell everybody what's going on based on the facts, the evidence, and the law. That's what we look for in our new chief of police. Thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you, Alex. Do we have John?
Aloha, my name is John Kawamoto, representing Hawaii J20, an organization committed to preserving constitutional principles and community values. We urge the Honolulu Police Commission to select a new chief who embraces the philosophy of community policing and understands the importance of maintaining a relationship of trust with the population he or she serves. Of special concern to us are undocumented immigrants and their role in community safety. while an exact count is unavailable, up to 45,000 undocumented immigrants are living in Hawaii. It is likely that most have overstayed their visas, which is a civil matter and not a crime. Nationally, 2/3 of adult undocumented immigrants have lived in our country for 10 years or more. Many have married U.S. citizens or have children who are U.S. citizens by birth. They live and work in our communities. They pay taxes. Their crime rate is 44% below that of native-born U.S. citizens. President Trump signed an executive order on January 25th that seeks to deport all undocumented immigrants. This is a change from the Obama administration policy that focused on deporting those who had committed serious crimes. The Trump order also encourages local police to act as federal immigration enforcement agents. Because of the heightened threat of deportation, undocumented immigrants now fear contact with the police. That fear jeopardizes effective community policing because it undermines the trust that police must have with those they serve. Undocumented immigrants now hesitate to report crimes or suspected crimes, and they are reluctant to come forth as witnesses to crimes. That makes it more difficult for the police to ensure the safety of everyone who live in our communities. Immigration is a federal function. County police departments need not participate in it. Based on constitutional authority, hundreds of cities and counties have declared themselves to be sanctuary jurisdictions, refusing to participate in immigration enforcement. Honolulu is not yet a sanctuary county, but the Honolulu City Council passed Resolution 17-50, which declares Honolulu to be a haven of aloha to all, regardless of immigration status. It encourages law enforcement to let immigration matters remain the kuleana of the federal government. We encourage the Honolulu Police Commission to select a new chief who is committed to the philosophy of community policing and understands that cooperation with federal immigration enforcement agencies diminishes the ability of the police to ensure the safety of everyone in our communities. Mahalo.
Thank you, John. Next is Nancy.
Aloha, Commissioners. I'm Nancy Botello, and I'm the President and CEO of Special Olympics. I have been with them for 30 years, and throughout that time, I've had the opportunity to know and work with several of the candidates for the Chief of Police this year. I have greatest respect for all of them. But I'm here today to speak on behalf of retired Major Kurt Kendrow. I first met Kurt back in 1986 when he ran in our very first law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics. At that time, he was a recruit running alongside of his fellow recruit members, including Troy Barboza, who was one of his best friends. When Troy was killed the following year, we named our torch run in Troy's honor. And since that time, I believe Kurt has made it his mission to grow the torch run to keep Troy's memory and spirit alive. What was 10 or 15 guys running our torch back in 1986 now had over 1,000 runners from over 30 agencies across the state this year running in our torch run. Kurt was responsible for a lot of that. Kurt served as our Hawaii State Torch Run Director from 1996 until 2001 and was the first class of inductees into our Hawaii Torch Run Hall of Fame. He's made a tremendous impact on all of us and all of the people in the law enforcement community for the torch run. Kurt was also elected to the International Torch Run Executive Council, where he served for 13 years until he retired in 2016. Through his international work, he garnered tremendous respect from law enforcement personnel across the world for the work he did. He helped change the bylaws of the Executive Council. He worked very hard for everything. He went to World Games and helped with security. And he was inducted into the International Chief Limunion Hall of Fame for the torch run, which is a huge, huge honor. Very few people get that honor. But he doesn't just serve as a leader on the law enforcement torch run management team. Since 1987, he has been a year-round coach for his Rainbow team. The Rainbows are a group of adult athletes who are now getting older, and he has coached them every year since 1987. And he also serves as a unified player on the bocce team with them, where he has won a couple gold medals, and he's really proud of that. Kurt also serves as a member of our board of directors. He's been on our board since 2012 and has served as vice chair for several years. And he is continually working to promote inclusion and acceptance for all people with intellectual disabilities. It shows in everything he does, which is very important to us. As you know, Special Olympics utilizes a lot of volunteers. We have about 9,900 volunteers annually that support our program. But there's a key group of volunteers who are really the leadership volunteers of our organization. They're the ones who are the best communicators, the ones who can get information back to the community. They're the people who oversee other volunteers and make sure that our athletes and our volunteers are safe. Kurt has always been part of that key management team for us. I believe Kurt would make an excellent chief of police for the Honolulu Police Department. He has the proven leadership ability and strength to lead one of the most diversified and largest police departments in the nation. And yet he still has the compassion to lead by example his command in learning the acceptance of all people and of community volunteerism. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Next is Renee.
Good afternoon. I am Renee Manfredi, Special Olympics athlete and member of the Board of Directors. I currently serve with Kurt Kendrow, who has been on our board since 2012. It has been a privilege to serve with Kurt on the board. He always treats me with respect and is seldom late for any meeting. And he is an effective member who keeps the board updated with what they are doing with the law enforcement torch run events. Kurt is also a dedicated volunteer with Special Olympics as a coach with the Rainbows team, a team that I have played against several times. Kurt treats all the players with respect and dignity. His athletes are very proud to be on his team, working together to give it their all. That's the same attitude we all want from our next chief of police. I truly believe that I and my peers can trust Kurt, not just as a Special Olympics volunteer, but as a dedicated officer of the law. In conclusion, Kurt Kendrow has my support in being selected to serve as the Honolulu Police Department Chief of Police. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Next we have Noelani.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Noelani Kuraunaluai, and I would like to also offer my support for retired Major Kurt Kendrow as the next Chief of Police. I had submitted written testimony via email, but I felt it was important to put a face with the name. I first met, and I apologize ahead of time if I get emotional, but if you hang in there with me, you'll understand why. I first met Kurt under really sad circumstances. My cousin and fellow police officer had recently been promoted captain of Ke Kula Makai. While he collapsed while on duty and sadly passed away on February 23rd, 2015. Kurt was his longtime and very close friend, and they were, by every definition, true brothers in blue. Immediately after Neville passed, the department was very supportive of our family. However, after his funeral services, the department has really, from how I feel, done a shameful job in keeping our family involved and informed when it came to special ceremonies and events honoring fallen officers. Even after key people in the department were made aware of our concerns. Thank you. There has continued to be what feels complete disregard and lack of respect for our family. On Monday night, we had to learn via social media that the crime investigation building at the training academy was recently rededicated and renamed the Colburn Crime Investigation Building in honor of my late cousin. Our family was never extended an invitation to attend the ceremony, and there aren't sufficient words to express how saddened we are that we missed another once-in-a-lifetime moment that we can never get back. Our family had previously not been invited to attend the Police Week ceremonies in Washington, D.C., when Neville's name was added to the National Monument. Major Kurt Kendro has been the only one who has consistently shown genuine love, concern, and support for our family, and has continued to do so even after his retirement. He firmly believes that changes need to be made to maintain close relationships and improve communications with families of fallen officers. It has hurt him immensely to see the pain our family has experienced due to the department's lack of attention and care in the matter. And he has expressed to me on many occasions how sorry he is and how much he wishes he was in the position to make the necessary changes for good. In the short time I've known him, I've been so impressed by his words and actions, and there was so much appreciation for the fact that he took it upon himself to clean and pressure wash the Hawaii Law Enforcement Memorial after vandals used the monuments as bike ramps. This act in particular meant so much to our family, as Neville's name is on the wall. I know that Major Kurt Kendro didn't do this for publicity or accolades. He is a police officer's police officer. He did it to honor the memories of his friends who lost their lives serving their community, and he did it because it was the right thing to do. Major Kurt Kendro does things because they are the right thing to do. He's a leader and not a follower, and he's the kind of person that the department needs as its next leader. In conclusion, I've also been impressed by his involvement with the Special Olympics and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. His service is genuine and selfless. These are both necessary qualities of a great leader. He is also a really good listener who gives fair and sound advice, and I've been on the receiving end of his counsel and have very much appreciated his guidance. Our family is honored to call him a friend. Kurt encapsulates what it means to be a tremendous leader. Your decision will directly affect me, not only as a resident of Oahu, but also as a wife of a Honolulu police officer. Kurt is a man of integrity and honor. The department and the people of Hawaii would benefit immeasurably by Kurt being named the next chief of police. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Nani. We have Antonio, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I had prepared some notes, however, I'm going to speak from the heart. First off, I'd like to say thank you to the commission. A little choked up, sorry. Thank you to the commissioners for allowing me to speak on behalf of Major Retired Kurt Kendro. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 22-year retired veteran military police officer. I served as the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii Chief of Police for now 9 years. I'm now the Chief of Law Enforcement for Installation Management Command, Pacific. The reason why I bring that up is because my views today, I come here as a kama'aina and a citizen. They reflect nothing about the military. However, Major Kendro was able to establish one unique thing over our 20-year period of knowing one another as professionals, that the military had a place when it came to law and order and discipline, sharing information. Kurt had the same views that I had, in which we tried to make sure that we work cohesively together, all branches in the military. It was one thing that he did, and it actually proved to be positive later on in my actual professional endeavors as the chief of police, to be able to bring that union together. Sometimes the military is slighted when it comes to passing information or their authority when it comes to the Honolulu police officers, but Kurt always promoted one team. I've also had the pleasure of working with Kurt in his altruism in the community. I too am a coach for the Rainbows. I also sit on the executive council. It's because of Kurt why I made the decision to be on the executive council. I've been volunteering for Special Olympics for 30 years. Kurt is one of those gentlemen that you would want to emulate and follow. There's a joke on the council: if you don't want to know the truth about policies and procedures, don't ask Kurt. So he will definitely keep you in line. I know when it comes to friendship and trust and honor, those are three things in which you have to earn. It's something you can't buy. Kurt has exhibited all three of those, whether you be a friend, a professional colleague, or even extended family. Kurt has always been one who talked about community-oriented policing. He was able to bring in volunteers for Special Olympics. He was also able to bring in volunteers for National Night Out and Shop with a Cop with the Honolulu Police Department, in which military police officers work side by side to bring forth and to contribute back to the community. Kurt, in my opinion, is the best choice. He will be able to look decisively into issues that are going on within the department. He will take the community's views at hand. He will also be transparent when it comes to informing the commission about things that are going on. So it is my honor today to speak proudly on behalf of retired Major Kurt Kendrow. He's a brother in blue, and he's a friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. Mahalo. Next we have Carol. Oh, yeah, one moment, Carol.
We don't have access to the list, so we don't know last name.
Oh, sorry, Antonio Williams, did I say? Okay, yeah, please state your name up here, because sometimes it's hard to read the handwriting. I'm not a specialist in writing handwriting. So we have Carol McNamee?
Yes.
McNamee?
McNamee.
McNamee. Pardon. Welcome, Carol.
It's a good Irish name.
Yeah.
Well, Chairman Swart and Commission members, my name is Carol McNamee, and I'm here today in support of Kurt Kendrow for the Office of Chief of Police of City and County of Honolulu. And I'm speaking today in two capacities. One is an individual who first met Kurt when he was a mere child, and the second in my role as the founder of the Honolulu chapter of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, now known as MAD Hawaii. And I'm here today because drunk driving is the most frequently committed violent crime in America. MAD Hawaii has been in the business of fighting this problem for almost 34 years, and it has been essential for us to work closely with HPD and its chief to make progress in what our national office calls the campaign to eliminate drunk driving. MAD is passionate about saving lives through both prevention and rigorous enforcement of impaired driving laws. We are keenly interested in the selection of a chief who will speak about the seriousness of all violent crimes and who will effectively lead the police department in combating these crimes. I believe, as does MAD, that Kurt Kendrow is such a person. His attributes are too many to list in this short time. A few of the most important traits that qualify him for chief, at least in my mind, are dedicated, trustworthy, intelligent, calm, kind, gentle most of the time, and forceful when he needs to be. Stature, with all its various meanings, including, and humble. This candidate has an extensive list of awards over his years with HPD, and yet I really know none of them. Kurt does not talk about his past recognition. He just carries on to get the next job done. Kurt Kendrow has been an invaluable resource to MAD Hawaii, especially after he became a major in the traffic division. And he has also participated in task forces to improve impaired driving laws and enforcement practices. Recently, Kurt became a member of the MAD Hawaii board, and he has been extraordinarily helpful. MAD understands that the new chief will have extraordinary duties in these dangerous times. We are all concerned and even fearful for our general safety, and security will be a huge job of the new chief's job. I believe that Kurt Kendrow has the capacity to lessen our fears because he will step up his role to increase safety in all its forms. In my book, as a longtime citizen of Honolulu County, as well as a continuing member of an organization that works for the safety of the community, Kurt Kendrow has what it takes to be chief. In one word, values. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Carol. Next we have Barry Tong.
Tom.
You would change.
Yes. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank Thank you for giving me this brief moment. My name is Barry Tong. I've been a veteran police officer for the last 32 years, currently a sergeant in the Central Receiving Division. I'm here today to give you some insight on one candidate in particular. I know you guys have a hard job. I've worked with and I've worked for many of the candidates that are up for the position of Chief of Police. But one candidate in particular, Major Susan Ballard, who is currently the major at the Central Receiving Division, she is honest, dedicated to the department, very loyal to the department. Wherever she has gone as a commander, as an executive officer, as a lieutenant, all the people that she has commanded has been very loyal to her. And she has gained all their respect. She has gained my respect over the years. I've known her for most of my career. I think she would be the best candidate at this point due to the fact that she is a current commander within the Honolulu Police Department and knows how the department is run right now. And she knows where to take the department into the future to give the department more transparency, which I believe the general public is looking for in the police department right now. So I just want to make it brief. I really don't want to take too much of your time because I know this is probably going to be a long meeting. But thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Mahalo, Barry.
Thank you.
We have Howard Zusman, is that how you say it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
Aloha. Thank you for allowing us to do this. Just briefly, personally, I've lived on Oahu for 24 years, and I served on the North Shore Neighborhood Board from 2000 to 2002. I have known Kevin Lima, who was the assistant police chief, and is also called Dr. Kevin Lima since he has a PhD in education, for 1 year. We train in the martial art of Aikido at the Manoa Aikido Club, which is across the street from the Manoa Valley Theater. I feel like I have known Kevin for many years because in the 1 year that I have known him, we both quickly accepted each other at face value and not solely for what our job titles or social status were. He has been a constant friend, generously sharing his vast Aikido knowledge and good energy, both on the mat and off. We typically talk story after class at the dojo. Besides talking and sharing about Aikido, the other most typically discussed topic is policing. About half of the adult Aikido practitioners in the club are on the Honolulu Police Force. I am not, however, I quite enjoy talking about policing. I have learned a lot about crime fighting from Kevin, as well as from Taro Nakamura, a former HPD detective and current lieutenant. Kevin volunteers his time 2 to 3 days a week to help teach the children's classes at the dojo in Manoa. The children really like Sensei Kevin's teaching style. Kevin and I are both school teachers. Kevin, It is difficult to be a good Aikido teacher, and it's difficult to be a good school teacher. The good students make the job worthwhile. However, the poorly behaved students can degrade both their own education and that of the other students. I believe that if a person can teach children students in typical classroom settings like a public school, a ballet studio, or a martial arts dojo, that ability lends itself quite well to properly handling other employment jobs that they may have. Raising and teaching children as so many people have experienced, gives the person in charge a great sense for how life works, how it grows, and how valuable and precious life is. Kevin has an excellent comprehension of the basic fundamental skills needed and used in Aikido. And from what I've learned from him at the dojo and him talking about policing, I feel he has a very good understanding of the basics and the fundamentals of policing. I have probably another 3 minutes worth here, so I'm going to send it in via email, and hopefully you'll read the rest of it there.
Very much appreciated.
Okay,
Oliver.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We don't have any more else signed up. However, if there's anyone up there that wants to have their 3 minutes? Okay, hearing none, anybody stepping forward? Oh, all right.
My name's Gary Dvorak, and I'm just here as a personal citizen. I've known Tom Ayu since we were 14 years old. We went to high school together. And I'm sure you've seen his work record and experience and his community involvement. So I just wanted to say, all the years I've known Tom, he's always exhibited the highest levels of character, most consistent levels of character. And I know he cares about the people of Hawaii. So I think he would be an excellent choice for the Honolulu Chief of Police.
Gary, how
Thank
do you
you.
spell your last name?
It's a complication. It's
Good.
D like David, W-O-R-S-H-A-K.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I see a couple of hands raised up there. Go ahead. State your name, please.
I will. Aloha. My name is Nancy Friedman. I work with the Domestic Violence Action Center. And it should have occurred to us to submit written testimony and sign up on the list, but I thank you for the opportunity to speak improv. We are hopeful that the selection you make is going to make a difference in the lives of our island families every time they reach out to the police for help. The work at the Domestic Violence Action Center is life-saving and life-altering, and our partnership with the Honolulu Police Department is essential for the community. I'm hopeful that the inquiries and the test results and the interviews reflect a commitment to addressing domestic violence effectively and appropriately. As you know better than the rest of us, this is a gnarly community challenge. Every sector has a key role they must play. We can't do this work alone. We need our criminal justice system to be standing right beside us. So the leadership from the chief is going to make all the difference in the world. So I hope you will take that into consideration when you're making your selection. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy. Anybody else? Anybody else to, yeah, come on, please.
Hi there. I'm Lisa Marie Like. I've been in the department for about 16 years.
What's your first name, dear?
Lisa Marie Like.
Lisa.
Yeah. I currently do work for Major Ballard, but I've also worked with her prior to being sworn. I was also a dispatcher. And my choice of her supervision has nothing to do with her being as my major. It's just the type of person that she is. She's a very kind-hearted woman, very fair, black and white. I mean, she just shows outstanding leadership. She stands by her word. She literally backs up her personnel and the department and knows her policy and laws. Very good, I must say. I mean, I just really enjoy working for this woman, where this is the type of job where men usually surpass in law enforcement. I believe Major Ballard is just outstanding. She's an awesome candidate, and I really hope that she can lead our department. It will bring up morale. She's just an outstanding leader, you know. I just wanted to just speak on that on behalf, and if anything, I'll send an email too. Thank you.
No, thank you for stepping forward, Lisa. Anybody else would like to, before we close the public hearing? Okay, well, hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Commissioners? Anything?
You need a motion?
No, not a motion, I
Oh.
just,
Asking.
okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for
Thank
coming. We're gonna proceed to the next portion of the public hearing, which is the, anything other than to do with the police, with the police chief. Which is, agenda items listed under public executive session. All right, don't see anybody stepping forward. Thank you very much. We'll move on to new business, Commissioner Levinson.
At the executive session of August 2, 2017, the commission took action on 2 cases involving 2 officers. Complaint number HPC 17-021 involving 1 complainant and 1 officer. The complaint of conduct unbecoming an officer was not sustained. Complaint number HPC 17-035 involved 1 complainant and 1 officer. The complaint of conduct unbecoming an officer was not sustained. Commissioners also directed the executive officer to close complaint number HPC 17-047 through the filing of a public service report without referral for further investigation pursuant to Commission Rule 9-1A, B, and C, as the complaint was not filed within 60 calendar days of the occurrence, is speculative or purely hypothetical and does not involve existing facts and is not within the jurisdiction of the Commission. The minutes of the July 5, 2017 executive session were also approved. I move that this report be accepted by the Commission.
Moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, thank you. Mr. Lawrence, you're up.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Our office is working to prepare the dossiers for your review for the upcoming interviews. 7 candidates was a little more than we expected, so we secured additional resources and worked really hard to put something together very comprehensive and useful for you in the upcoming interviews. Now, with respect to the interviews, I think we've secured a date or dates of October 24 and 25, but that's contingent upon squeezing in these 7 interviews in 2 days. So I just want to talk to you about some of the logistical and procedural issues that I discussed with Human Resources. Primarily, I want to understand if we've tentatively put together a schedule where the interviews are about 90 minutes each with 15 minutes between for refreshments and bathroom breaks, etc.
Okay. So it's 90 minutes plus 10?
90 plus 10 or 15.
Okay.
There's going to be some flexibility, but that way